allegedly the song Daughter on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album.
I love that one.
It's potentially a murder confession about Jay-Z's mistress, Kathy White.
Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress.
Yeah.
Who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the fuck was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is fucking you. And the boss's boss don't get no Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere. Which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties. To walk mother out! Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have done a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. What?
His pregnancy is a way of keeping Jay-Z's alleged mistress away. Beyonce is going to use a surrogate so she can maintain her body, but they're going to play it off like it's allegedly, like they gave birth.
I did a Rockaware photo shoot in Colorado, and I think it was during the winter time of 06 or 07. And Naomi Campbell was there, actress Jamie King was there, Jay was there, B was there. And he rented this house, and we were supposed to do this rap party for this photo shoot. We rented this house, and we were watching LeBron play. And after the game, it had to be like 10 or 11 o'clock. So we getting ready to party. Mind you, it's all adults, which I can respect that. So when 11 o'clock hit, we turned on the music, we started drinking, and then out of nowhere came these young I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking, loud music, and us dancing wild. Like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look sexy? Or isn't this sexy? And in my mind, and mind you, I'm not awakened as I'm awakened now. So in my mind, I'm like, what did she just say? And then I didn't pay no attention to it. And then, obviously the liquor took hold of me and I had to leave. So I said bye to everybody and left. But those kids remained. I don't know if those kids were from the photo shoot themselves, but the fact that these kids came around adults during drinking hours or partying hours was already alarming to me. So when I hear something like this happens, I can't really discount it and say, oh, he could never do this, because I'm hearing stories, I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and I've been in situations where something don't sound or look right, and it's usually involving.
Spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping
Porter?
people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Mm-hmm. Me and maybe about 15 others.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being 2 of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. Right. Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop, whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man.
Recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but the shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and...
Correct.
Wow, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like...
What he is a broke down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. He did that interview with the baby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyonce. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shack. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let the baby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyonce was there and Jay-Z was there. Not at their house, at Diddy's house.
They're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce him. Okay, and she may or may not do an interview, but you're gonna their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time, they built this beautiful life, blah 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 blah. Now before all this happens, we may get another tour, we may get another album out of both of them. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're gonna do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she needs.
This has been going on since 2006, and it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And for a very long time, I put this person on a pedestal. I love them. I send emails, publicly, happy birthday and all this stuff. And the entire time, this person was casting spells and manipulating me and controlling my job situations, my relationships.
What if the most powerful couple in music built their empire on more than just talent? For years, Jay-Z and Beyonce have represented hip-hop royalty, billion-dollar deals, sold-out tours, cultural dominance. But now, with resurfaced rumors, old interviews going viral, and social media re-examining every moment from the past 2 decades, the conversation has taken sharp turn. And standing at the center of it all, again, is Wendy Williams, a woman many once called messy, but who some now claim was simply early. Because before the blind items, before the viral TikToks, before the deep dive YouTube exposés, Wendy was asking questions nobody else would touch. And now, the internet is asking, was she onto something? Right now, the internet feels like it's on fire. Timelines are flooded. Old interviews are resurfacing. Comment sections are moving faster than newsrooms can keep up. And at the center of it all, the names Jay-Z, Jeffrey Epstein, and Diddy, 3 figures whose names, fairly or unfairly, have become magnets for speculation in online spaces. To be clear, much of what's circulating is social media discourse, reposted clips, stitched interviews, blind items, and commentary threads. No formal charges tying Jay-Z to wrongdoing in connection with those figures have been established. But that hasn't stopped the algorithm, because in 2026, perception spreads faster than proof. Users are dissecting decades-old photos. Viral posts are drawing loose association maps. Old party footage is being reframed with ominous music and slow zooms. The narrative forming online isn't built in courtrooms. It's being built in comment sections. And here's where it gets interesting. For years, Jay-Z has been positioned as the calculating mogul, the businessman who moves in silence. So when online conversations began linking his name to broader discussions about elite industry circles, some weren't surprised. Powerful men often become the focal point of internet suspicion. But then something unexpected happened. The spotlight shifted, because suddenly, the posts weren't just about Jay-Z. They were about Beyonce. Edits started circulating. Threads began asking questions. Old rumors were dug up and repackaged for a new generation of viewers who weren't even around when they first trended. And that's when the tone changed. Because criticizing Jay-Z feels familiar to the internet. Questioning Beyonce? That feels seismic. But the real shock wasn't that Jay-Z's name was trending. It was that Beyonce's was right behind it. To understand why Beyonce's name resurfaced so quickly, you have to go back to 2011. A daytime television interview. A glowing announcement. A moment that should have been pure celebration. During a now infamous appearance, Beyonce sat down in a flowing dress to discuss her pregnancy. But when she adjusted her posture, viewers thought they saw something strange. Her baby bump appeared to fold inward for a split second. Within hours, the clip went viral. Zoomed-in versions, slow-motion breakdowns, side-by-side comparisons. Was it just fabric, camera angle, lighting, or something more? Her team swiftly dismissed the rumors, attributing the visual oddity to the structure of the dress. Major outlets backed that explanation. The news cycle moved on. But the internet didn't. Because the next day, one person didn't let it go. Wendy Williams addressed it directly on her show. She questioned the optics. She questioned the timeline. She even referenced long-circulating surrogate speculation that had quietly existed in online forums before going mainstream. And then a name resurfaced in fringe blog discussions. Kathy White, a woman some internet users speculated about in connection to those rumors. It is important to stress, these claims have never been substantiated, and no credible evidence has confirmed surrogate conspiracies. But the speculation persisted online, largely fueled by how aggressively the narrative was shut down. And here's why this moment matters. It was visual. It was replayable. It felt unscripted. And in the age of viral media, that's all it takes for a theory to gain traction. Most media outlets avoided amplifying the speculation. Wendy didn't. And that wouldn't be the last time Wendy stepped into dangerous territory. Fast forward a few years, and a different type of conversation began circulating. Former associates, ex-friends, industry insiders who once appeared close to powerful circles started speaking, not always with accusations, but with raised eyebrows. In interviews and live streams, a handful of individuals described exclusive gatherings, elite parties, rooms where phones weren't allowed, environments that felt, in their words, different after a certain hour. It's critical to say this clearly. These are anecdotal accounts. Personal recollections. No confirmed evidence of crimes attached to the stories. But when former insiders distance themselves and then speak vaguely about discomfort, audiences listen. Because context is everything. When people once seen in VIP sections suddenly describe unease, viewers start connecting dots, even if those dots aren't confirmed to connect. Clips circulate with ominous background music. Comments read, they're all connected. Association becomes implication. And this is how narratives form in the digital age. Not through court filings, but through accumulated suggestion. Individually, each story sounds unbelievable. Together, they start to form a narrative that keeps resurfacing. Then there's the most sensitive layer of all. The tragic death of Aaliyah in 2001 left a permanent scar on the music industry. Over time, as Beyonce's solo career skyrocketed, online spaces began constructing rivalry narratives, comparing trajectories, timing, influence. It's important to emphasize, conspiracy theories connecting Aaliyah's death to industry power struggles have circulated for years without substantiation. There is no verified evidence supporting those claims. But the internet has a pattern. When tragedy intersects with fame, mythology grows. People rewrite timelines. They assign motives. They retrofit competition into coincidence. In reality, the music industry has always been competitive. Multiple stars can rise without one pushing another down. But online storytelling often prefers a villain. And as Beyonce's dominance solidified, Grammys, global tours, billion-dollar valuations, fringe corners of the internet began asking darker questions. Not based on evidence, based on narrative appetite. It's a reminder of how quickly admiration can flip into suspicion when power becomes absolute. Then came the interviews. Over the past year, various commentators and internet personalities have referenced alleged recordings involving unnamed high-profile figures at private gatherings. The details remain vague. No confirmed tapes have been publicly released. No official documents substantiate the claims. But the hints were enough. One interview in particular referenced footage involving someone described only as more famous than Diddy. That single phrase ignited thousands of posts. Who could that be? Speculation spiraled immediately. Again, no names were confirmed. No proof surfaced. But timing is everything. And when those vague statements landed during a period of renewed scrutiny around elite entertainment circles, audiences began filling in blanks on their own. And that's the most powerful engine of viral culture, implication. No names were confirmed, but the timing sent social media into overdrive. As speculation intensified, the tone shifted once more. Instead of painting Beyonce as an architect, some online commentators reframed her as potentially strategic or even isolated. blind items began hinting at tension behind closed doors. YouTube analysts speculated about contingency plans. Some suggested that if reputational fallout ever reached a breaking point, distancing, professionally or personally, could become a calculated move. Again, these are theories. Commentary. Interpretations built on public appearances, body language analysis, and industry timing. But here's what makes this angle compelling. It humanizes her. Instead of an untouchable queen orchestrating events, the narrative pivots to a woman navigating immense pressure inside one of the most scrutinized marriages in entertainment history. Every public smile becomes analyzed. Every solo appearance becomes dissected. Is she complicit, controlled, or simply protecting the brand? And maybe that's the real story. Not what's proven, not what's alleged, but how quickly public perception can transform icons into enigmas. Because in the age of viral suspicion, even royalty isn't immune to the storm. And now, the story circles back to the one voice that never seemed afraid of the fallout. Wendy Williams. Long before TikTok breakdowns, before YouTube deep dives, before social media threads stitched together old interviews into ominous montages, Wendy was sitting in a purple chair on daytime television, saying the quiet parts out loud. For over a decade, Wendy built her brand on bluntness. She didn't whisper. She didn't soften edges. She didn't wait for press releases. If there was a rumor circulating in blogs or radio back channels, she brought it to the main stage and dissected it in front of millions. Sometimes she was wrong. Sometimes she was messy. Sometimes she crossed lines that made viewers uncomfortable. But sometimes she was early. That's the part the internet is re-examining now. Because when the 2011 pregnancy interview went viral and most mainstream outlets dismissed the speculation immediately, Wendy didn't. She questioned it, publicly, boldly, while others avoided the topic entirely. When industry party culture was whispered about but rarely discussed on major platforms, Wendy made suggestive comments that implied she knew more than she could legally say. She would pause mid-sentence, smirk, change tone, let the audience fill in the blanks. That delivery style became her signature, but it also made her powerful enemies. Or at least, that's what online observers now speculate. Throughout her career, Wendy consistently challenged powerful figures across music, film, and politics. She critiqued image control. She questioned narratives. She poked at carefully managed public brands. In an industry where access is currency, Wendy often seemed willing to burn bridges in exchange for being first. And that kind of approach comes with consequences. As her talk show faced internal challenges and eventually ended, a new wave of speculation emerged, this time about Wendy herself. Health struggles became public. Contract disputes played out in headlines. Conservatorship discussions sparked debate. Suddenly, the woman who once controlled the narrative became the subject of it. And that shift fueled yet another layer of internet mythology. Some viewers argue her career decline was simply the result of health and industry changes. Others, leaning into conspiracy thinking, suggest she knew too much. There is no verified evidence supporting retaliation narratives, but the speculation persists because it fits a dramatic arc people understand. Whistleblower speaks, whistleblower falls. It's a compelling storyline, but compelling doesn't always mean factual. Still, what's undeniable is Wendy's consistency. She was never subtle about her willingness to question powerful couples, including Jay-Z and Beyonce. While many media personalities avoided directly challenging them, Wendy leaned in. And now, with old clips resurfacing and new social media debates exploding daily, those moments feel different to some viewers. What once sounded like gossip now sounds, to certain audiences, like foreshadowing. But here's the uncomfortable truth. In celebrity culture, being provocative and being prophetic can look identical in hindsight. If you throw enough darts, eventually one lands near the bullseye. That doesn't automatically make every throw strategic. It doesn't automatically make every comment insider knowledge. Yet the timing of everything, the resurfaced interviews, the renewed scrutiny around elite entertainment circles, the reevaluation of long-standing rumors, has created the perfect environment for Wendy's past commentary to feel almost cinematic. And that's why this chapter hits harder than the others. Because it isn't just about allegations or speculation. It's about narrative legacy. Wendy built a career asking uncomfortable questions. She thrived on saying what others wouldn't. And now, as the internet replays those clips in a completely different climate, viewers are split down the middle. Was she reckless? Was she opportunistic? Was she simply doing what gossip hosts have always done, amplifying whispers for ratings? Or was she ringing an alarm nobody wanted to hear? And maybe that's the question that keeps this entire story alive. Not whether every rumor is true, not whether every theory holds weight, but whether the loudest voice in the room was dismissed too quickly. Because in an industry built on image, silence is often strategic. And the people who refuse to stay silent, they rarely walk away untouched. So now the conversation turns to you. Was Wendy reckless? Or was she ringing an alarm nobody wanted to hear?